right, well, it's 7:01, so I'll get started. I might shuffle the agenda around a little bit just based on who's here. I know there's a couple people still en route. So my name's Elisa Lukey. I'm the Vice President of Highland Park Community Council. So thank you guys for coming to our community meeting. I hope everyone made it through the crazy snowstorm, which I I think we barely did. It was really the beautiful thing from it was wonderful to see the community come together and try to get through it together with shoveling and everything else. And it was pretty fun to watch all the chairs and different contraptions people use to save their parking spots. So thankfully we're in a thaw and it's almost gone. But I just want to acknowledge that that was a wild storm. So first on the agenda, I am actually going to hand it over to one of our special guests, Michael Kelley, who is from City Forestry, and he is going to talk about a new city orchard in the neighborhood. So Michael, I'm going to punt it to you.
Thank you. Um, I'd like to start off with letting everybody know that this is not going to take any type of existing park space or anything out of play. What we are working forward on is a section of our unused property on our lot at the Forestry Division will be fenced off and made into a public space to serve as an orchard that will be maintained by the city. We are going to be starting off this spring with approximately 2 dozen fruit trees of both native varieties and traditional varieties. And the objective is for this to become a space that is functional and educational and to convert unused portions of yard from an area that gets mowed and takes up maintenance time and burns fuel and turn it into a public resource for anyone who would like to come by. There will be a wide variety of educational signage, and there's going to be schedules for what is available for harvest. And most importantly, it's going to be an asset for everybody who uses the park, especially on the walk to the pool. We will be taking proposals for additional features uh, and species as the project goes on. We'll be doing the initial planting now to give us kind of a skeleton of the orchard itself, because it takes, 3 to 5 years before we'll see any effective productivity from this. But when we have it fully up and running, it'll be a pretty nice public asset with a few benches and some delicious fruits.
And Michael, there was a question in the chat about where is the exact location?
I'll tell you what, can I have screen sharing real quick? Can I do that? Yes. We are going to, okay, pop up a new window here. I can give you, I should be embarrassed at how quickly I can scroll to the office. So the planned footprint is basically going to be here. So it'll be right near where the stop sign is on Stanton Avenue.
Wonderful.
And I can share, let me see real quick. This is our kind of starting point. So you see, we'll have traditional, the apple varieties are all up in flux. We're receiving these trees as a donation from Tree Pittsburgh through oh, through the Giving Grove Orchard Program, which is run by an organization out of Oklahoma. Um, you can see we're going to have cherries, pears, apples, a little feature we're calling Green Bean Grotto, which will be a walk through bean trellis where people will be able to pick green beans. And the idea is again, like a public resource that is also an educational resource. And we're hoping in the future to be able to do some kind of collaboration with Dilworth School because they frequently come down for walks through the park to the community garden. And the idea again is that this is going to be a public space, but unlike most of our community gardens and other features, it's not going to be specifically benefiting like a small group of people. It's literally for everybody.
And then there's a question in the chat asking who are the stewards?
It will be stewarded and managed by the City Forestry Division.
Any other questions from anyone?
Does anybody have any like quick suggestions for what kind of fruit trees they would like to see?
I have a question. Um,
Yes,
what's it gonna look like in when it first opens? Because you're saying a lot of these things are gonna take a few years to mature.
that's correct. For the first couple of years, it is not actually going to have an opening to the public. We'll be installing the gate kind of where this gap between the blueberries and aronias are. So in that meantime, it will be open in like the sense that it's going to be a mulched in area with establishing trees. And as soon as they're healthy enough and established enough that we don't have to worry about like, any issues with plant survival, then we'll be cutting a gate in. And yes, so it'll look like an orchard. It's going to be primarily wood chips throughout the entire area,
Mhm,
which will be
mhm.
maintained with horticultural vinegar to ensure that we don't get too many weeds. And of course, lots of wildflowers and other pollinator plants and things to keep it beautiful looking.
It looks
Um,
like there's like orange flags in that space now. Is that right?
Yep, that's from our lead soil testing. We had the entire area tested
Um,
for lead and arsenic to make sure everything that grows there would be safe.
oh, okay. Thank you.
Yep, and I see we have a question about pawpaws. There will be pawpaws. There will be raspberries. There will be aronias. Everything you see on the screen is just our starting point. We've only accounted for about like 50% of our potential space. It will have an 10-foot tall deer fence around the perimeter of it to ensure that everything is survivable, and also to make sure that anybody using the space doesn't accidentally wander into our operations area, which could be, very inconvenient for both the people wandering in and for our operations. Um, in terms of community programming, this is going to be something that we're working on moving forward in collaboration with City Farms. Uh, at the very least, at some point, there will be cider press demonstrations, as well as just the basics in terms of like tree and plant identification, how to know when fruits are ripe. I see we have a comment on apiaries as well. There, I I agree with the idea we should have more apiaries. We do need to be mindful of the increasing prevalence of people with allergies to bee stings, which is actually part of the reason we don't have any of those on our site at the moment. We do have several employees who are allergic to bees.
I think there was a question about will it be open to people outside of the city?
It will be open to anybody who comes, just like any other feature in our parks. We will probably at some point in the beginning have restricted hours, but that is going to be something we work on moving forward. For those of you who aren't aware, I am also a resident of Highland Park. So if there is ever an urgent maintenance need or any type of event that needs to be hosted, there are several of us in the neighborhood who are like ready to hand to help. I see a comment on black raspberries versus blackberries. We are going to have a blend of different brambles, more than just like the two lines shown on the map itself. Um, just as well, we're going to have several different varieties of blueberries. The erroneous will be more of a single variety. And we are trying to source Chicago hardy figs, as well as the Hican, which is the closest thing we can get this far north to being able to grow pecans.
Well, this is definitely a really amazing add to our community in the city of Pittsburgh. Maybe if you're willing, we can share out on our social media about the orchard plans and get some feedback from folks about what they want to see as well.
Yeah, I'd
Sabrina,
just let me run that by my supervisor first. I don't have the authority to
Sounds good.
make
And we
decisions
wouldn't
about
ever
PR on
force you
behalf of the
into
city.
hosting anything. It's just would be fun to see kind of what people are hoping to see in your orchard.
Sabrina
Um,
has her hand up. Sorry, Tom.
Bruce, thank you.
Sorry, this is really awesome. I'm very excited about it. I wondered if you could briefly it just feels like it came out of nowhere and it's a lovely, wonderful thing. And I was just curious briefly, like, how did this happen? Who made this happen?
uh, so the Giving Growth program came into being like 2.5 years ago, and we've been working with them on several different project locations. And this was kind of a project in fits and starts because at the beginning we got some authorizations for it, and then like city legal had questions about access and public good, and then we had to get the soil testing. And there were several points in this process where it didn't look like the project was going to be able to go forward. And then suddenly it's going to go forward and it's going to go forward very quickly. So we are kind of playing catch up on the public facing side of this. It's honestly, it came together in a way that it came together very suddenly, and we're glad that it's happening. But also, we want to make sure that everybody is involved as stakeholders as the project progresses.
Thank you.
I think there's just a few more questions about who's doing the planting.
We'll be doing planting with city employees and with volunteers from other city departments as part of their sustainability programs. For future expansions of the orchard, we would definitely be willing to lean on volunteers as well. But with the short turnaround, it felt like asking too much to try and get people to come in and work on the project that quickly.
Then we have a
Jason.
question from Jason Grease, our president of Highland Park Community Council.
Hey, Michael. Thanks for doing this. This is such a wonderful project. You mentioned that like it sort of came together quickly. I'm always curious with this sort of thing, the back end maintenance, like if could it be the case that one day you lose support from the city for maintaining this sort of thing? Is that likely to happen? Unlikely to happen? How stable is this on like a 20 to 25 year time frame?
I would say this is going to be a fairly stable thing, especially once we get the trees themselves established. The maintenance goes down considerably, and it just comes down to having one person either come in and weed whack or spray vinegar on weeds as they come up 4 or 5 times a year. After that
Also,
first like few years of pruning, it's going to be pretty stable.
that's awesome.
Um, I would also, I'd like to throw out there, this comes in conjunction with another project we have where we're developing a soil nursery at the city forestry office in conjunction with the development of biochar assets. And so for the past 2 years, we have been working on building an augmented soil that's enriched with different microbial organisms ranging from Trichoderma viridae to a couple of bacillus strains that I cannot pronounce the scientific names of. Um, so this is going to be integrated into these plantings, and then this is going to be our test ground for improving these soil varieties so we can use them in tree plantings across the city. I see a question about watering. It'll be watered by our staff.
Hello, this is Deborah. I'm sorry that I'm late coming on, but I love plants. And matter of fact, I really advocated for trees to be placed in front of my house and finally got them after about several years through the forestry program. So where is the orchard going to be?
You know the Forestry Division on Stanton Avenue, that random stop sign in
Yes,
the middle of the road? It'll be
yes.
just before that stop sign if you're headed towards the division from Dilworth.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yep, no problem.
And I think we just have one more question about the source of water for watering.
Yeah, no, we'll be watering by hand. We have several water transportation options. Yeah, it's gonna be work, but yeah.
Okay, well, anyone else have any questions for Michael? All right, well, thank you so much. This is just so exciting for our community, and we're thrilled to see it kind of coming to fruition and into life. So, and please let us know how we can help. Okay.
All right, sorry, my audio is cutting out.
Just a big thank you.
All right, well, yep, thank you for your time.
All right, thanks, Michael. So next on my list, I'm going to introduce Corey Buckner, who is our Community Affairs Supervisor for Highland Park from the Office of Mayor Corey O'Connor. So Corey, do you want to say a few words about how we can work with you?
I My name's Corey. If I was on that meeting we had just last month for the Highland Park Reservoir, but I'm very familiar with the Highland Park Community Council. I used to work for former Mayor Peduto and also managed this exact office back then. And I was the liaison for our office, basically for Highland Park. So I've been to a few year meetings when they were at the church. But basically, what I hope to do, I'll be in your meetings monthly, is to bring you updates from the mayor's office, also address issues and concerns and all those things. But I just wanted to touch on just a few things quickly. I appreciate you all being patient with us through that snowstorm. And we were working very closely with Alyssa, with Jason on a few issues. There was, like, on Farragut Street, there was a water main break that built up ice, and so Chief Gilman and myself and a few others in the office, we worked closely with DPW to try to remove that ice as quick as possible. We also got some complaints about Bryant Street as well and snow removal, and it took us about maybe a week and a half to get there, but we got there eventually, and we did some snow removal. Something else that I brought up possibly in the last meeting was around Snow Angels, the program where we pair residents with people in need who have disabilities or are elderly above the age of 62 with volunteers to help shovel snow. And I want to say Highland Park is doing excellent. We still do have two homes that I noticed right before when we hopped on. One is on the 900 block of Mellon Street, and the other is on the 5500 block of Avondale. So there are still just two residents who need help, but for the most part, you have, I want to say, roughly 20 to 30 people in your neighborhood being supported by another resident helping to shovel their snow. So if you can, it's simple now that the snow is done for now, fingers crossed. You can call 311. Our 311 system, I apologize, was backed up, but so many people were calling all at the same exact time. And now it should be a lot easier. You could easily call 311 and sign up for Snow Angels if you want to volunteer. I saw Officer Jeff Crawford's on the phone. I want to give a shout out to Zone 5 Police because they also showed up tremendously for us in Lincoln, Leamington, and Homewood. And they shoveled, I want to say, easily 20 to 30 houses. It was a really much on hands deck approach, all on deck approach. Me and my team were only three people, but we were able to get people in need of help shoveling snow. We were able to get over 100 houses covered temporarily by volunteers willing to do more than one house. We have volunteers doing 4 houses. So that was really great to see, and not just them, also City Forestry did the house. I'm sorry, City Forestry did the houses in Lake and Leamington. So there was a lot of people supporting one another. And again, I do apologize, like just the turnaround time. We are limited in resources and capacity. And as you may have saw, we are currently, we received this one-time gift from UPMC and also working on a long-term plan for continuous support from the major nonprofits and institutions and corporations in our city. But hopefully that will help to alleviate some of the stress we are seeing year to year around these seasons. And then just some basic stuff from our office. We also do programming. So by the end of this month, me and my team, we're working on a monthly newsletter. And once we have that ready to go, it will have like resources and tools that you can use that the city has. And then it will have like press releases, important issues that came up throughout the month. And just basically get you up to speed on what's going to happen in March. And as soon as I get that prepared and ready and it looks good, we're going to have that sent over to the community group where you all can just sign up directly with us. Some other things that me and my staff we're working on right now is getting prepped for the capital budget meetings citywide. That's happening in early spring, so we're getting prepped on that. Also, the City Cuts program is also going to happen again this year. So we're working on getting contractors, much like Snow Angels. These are contractors that go to help cut grass for people in need. And just like Snow Angels, you're not always going to get it's kind of a first come, first serve type thing. So we can't always guarantee we'll be able to get to everybody. And then just, I'm going to stay on top. The mayor's office is really on top of the Pittsburgh water issue around the reservoir. And so, we're staying in touch. And just so you know as well, I did speak to our Deputy Director of Economic Development. And from what I was told, the community group's interested in hearing a little bit more about the Main on Main initiative that the mayor's office is putting out. And I'll make that connection for you. And that's it. I could take questions. I did see one question may have popped up in the chat or comments. Not sure. Thank you, Jason. I appreciate you. And never hesitate to reach out to us. And somebody commented on the Snow Angels program. I really appreciate all the work you all are doing. David.
Hi, yes. Corey, I'm glad you're making these meetings. I've had some contact with you previously, and in one specific manner. So something that was installed here in Highland Park. Mm-hmm. And we're having a really big issue with it. And okay. I am not getting any responses. None of us are getting any responses from Deb Gross.
Okay.
And and I was wondering, actually, are you in the position that Jan Rather used to be in?
I'm not exactly. I'm kind of managing. It's not called neighborhood services anymore, but I'm managing the office similar to neighborhood services.
Okay. We had several issues with him in which he was actually lying to different community groups about what actually happened on Stanton Avenue. Okay. And I also heard that the chief was on. I'm having a hard time finding an incident report on, I think it was roughly around January 14th, where a cyclist was hit due to the infrastructure that was put in that was supposed to be safer for cyclists. Mm-hmm. And they were smacked off their bike, I think. Okay. So we have a really big situation happening. And I can talk to you more offline about this, but we need to escalate this higher than Deb. Because
that sounds good. And I'm going to drop my email in the chat for everyone. And that would be more helpful. Me and my colleague Clarice, she's the deputy director of operations, basically within the mayor's office. So we work closely with all the departments around DPW, DOMI, PWSA, all the utility companies as well, and the parking authority. So I'm dropping that now. And I apologize if you tried to reach out to me and I missed that at some point, but I'll be sure to follow up on this immediately.
No, you were like my next step.
Oh, okay.
So
Good, it all worked out beautifully
yeah,
then.
yeah.
Okay, I'm in the clear.
Thanks for attending the meetings. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's no problem. I appreciate you all and the work that you're doing.
Any other questions for Corey?
Like we had
Thank
one
you,
from
Corey.
Deborah
Oh.
on lead.
Thank you. I didn't see that. Oh, how are you addressing lead in the water? Thanks so much, Jason.
Yeah, I received a letter that said that there was lead in my water. I was truly surprised. I've been in Highland Park for a very long time, raised 2 adult children, and it said something about the pipes are going to be changed throughout the city. But my concerns were, okay, I can address it by having bottled water and using filters, but also this is affecting the schools in the area. So what's being done about the lead in the water?
Let me make a recommendation for you. And this actually came directly from when I had a meeting with Pittsburgh Water on like, okay, what's happening and like what's the best way for people to reach out to you on issues that I might not have the answer to. They gave me an email address. I have to find it, and it's the most simple like email address. It could be like info at let me make I don't want to make an assumption on what the email is. I'll find it and drop it in the chat. Use my email and use that email first to try to get an answer as to what's happening around that. We've been replacing lead lines. It's a consent decree that came down. Like we have to replace all of our outdated lead lines. And so I would email them. You can always CC me on that email too. That way I know, you sent it. It goes to individuals who know us in the mayor's office. So and maybe in the message, say you're copying Corey Buckner from the mayor's office as well. The other thing is, if you don't feel comfortable doing that, you can email me directly, and we can follow up. Me or somebody in my office, we can help follow up on that to get you some better information on it. It's been a while since I've been at the city, so I'm reprogramming my brain around a lot of stuff.
Thank you.
We have a question from Jason.
Yeah, Corey, and I know
Hey,
you might not be able to say much about this, but a big conversation in council right now is sort of the status of RCOs in general and their involvement in the development process. So I'm just wondering if the mayor has a public stance on this, and if not, just want to, if you can put a note that I'm obviously very curious what his stance would be.
We haven't, like, I actually have a meeting with planning coming up at the first week of March, and we're going to be discussing RCOs. There's no plan to like remove them at all. We also want to make sure organizations are meeting with developers. I'll have more information in the future for you, but we want to be able to support RCOs is essentially it.
Awesome, thank you.
Yep.
Great. Well, I think anyone else have a question? And so thank you, Corey, for attending this meeting and continuing to attend them. We really appreciate your support and guidance. It's been really great having you here. So thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Next on the agenda, we're going to do a couple of Highland Park updates. So we're going to start with an update from our Parks Committee with Tina and Beth.
Hi, everyone. Beth here, one of the leads of the Park Committee. Tina, would you like to kick us off with a Reservoir Loop update? Tina, you're on mute.
I'm so sorry. My
Don't be sorry.
My computer ran out of power and I lost everything, so I'm back on. Beth, I didn't hear what you already talked about, but are you asking me to report on Reservoir Drive?
You got
Okay,
it.
thank you. Our small committee of 5 had a meeting in January. We did a walkthrough of Reservoir Drive to identify problem areas, places where there could be tweaks. And all this is moving toward a phase 2 of Reservoir Drive improvements, working with DOMI. And so we created a very nice list of easily achievable solutions to some of the problems up there and ways to make what's up there better and to build on the work that was done in 2023. We have a letter that's ready to go out to DOMI and to the Parks Conservancy and Deb Gross's office and you, Corey Buckner, to ask you to come for a walkthrough with us this spring. And we'll walk through again. We'll talk about things that we see, and we'll be asking you what you see, and just looking at it and trying to envision what could be some nice improvements to make it more park-like, safer, easier to navigate, and also ecologically advanced. So that's what's happening. And we invite anybody that has a strong interest in Reservoir Drive and you would like to be on this committee, we would love to have you. So get in touch with me, please.
Thanks, Tina. And I know there was a question in the chat about the problems. Would you just give a brief summary of what we see of all the problems?
Yeah, so let's start with the entry. When a car or bike or pedestrian comes into the entry on Highland Avenue, it can be a little bit overwhelming with all the bollards. Remember that when the improvements were made, bollards, we had easily achievable ways to slow traffic and to make improvements on what it was. But it is overwhelming for most people to come into Highland Avenue, from Highland Avenue into the park. If you're new to the park, you're looking like, where do I go? Do the bikes and the cars go in the same lane? There's a lot of visual busyness that's going on right there. So that's one area that we want to reduce the bollards and to use probably planters or some other kinds of designations of lanes, something more park-like and something that's not visually confusing. Next step is that big triangle that as soon as you get in, there's a big area that you're not supposed to drive in. You're supposed to stay in your lane, whether you're, walking, biking, driving, and there's a big area. And so what do we do with that area? So one of the things is, what can we do better with that area? Can we plant it? Can we, is there a way of using it to contribute to the park? Also, there might be ways to think about how people move in that area. Right now, you're not supposed to be on that, even walking, because there's crosswalks. But the people that live close to the park, they know that cars go through that area all the time. So it's actually unsafe. That there's people that don't follow what is indicated there. So that's another area. Another area is the walking lane, which was done in 2023. The walking lane and the bike lane and the driving lane and then the parking lane from left to right. The walking and driving were made larger and the driving was made smaller and the parking was made clear, what it should be. But what happened with the walking is because it's so slanted toward the curb, that it's actually not a good walking lane for people. It's people will have a tendency to want to walk in the bike lane because it's more level. So we want to make that a part of our walkthrough to talk about that slope, which we actually measured. And so that's another area. Also, when you look at some of the, the ecological aspect of, there's a lot of asphalt on Reservoir Drive. So how can we think about the drive in a way where there's ways to reduce asphalt and increase landscape type materials on Reservoir Drive? So that's another vision that we can carry through to the people in charge and try to advocate for. Now, if you're following the drive to the right and you get to Farmhouse, I think it's called Farmhouse Drive, the one that comes up into the park from the farmhouse, and there's the T. Again, there's some area that you're not supposed to be driving in. It's designated with hash marks, and then there's a lane for two-way traffic to go down Farmhouse Drive. It's kind of a hard turn right from Reservoir Drive, and many times people actually go into the other lane right there. And there actually was an accident a few months ago where somebody just went into off the road, and it was in the news. They were a new driver and they actually did not navigate that. They got discombobulated. So that juncture of Farmhouse and Reservoir Drive, those are the main things. And just in general, like reducing the bollards and increasing more park-like materials.
Thank you, Tina.
And there can be more. So if there's more that you're thinking about, bring it to us.
Yeah, thank you, Tina. So Tina and I are the sort of chairs, so to speak, or the leads of the park committee. So if you are interested in anything to do with what Tina was speaking about the park and that reservoir, please reach out to us. The best way to do that might be our general email. So hpccpgh@gmail.com. So I'm going to be very brief in my announcement, but tonight I was going to announce for all those who were unable to attend this meeting on February 5th, Pittsburgh Water right now is engaging our community in a hillside safety project. And this is not about the reservoir that Tina was speaking about, the main reservoir that you might be familiar with up at the main entrance of the park. This is the second reservoir, which is covered. And this reservoir has a new classification as a dam. And that classification is going to come with a plethora of changes for our park and our neighborhood. We had an entire meeting that Pittsburgh Water hosted on February 5th, which laid out sort of the plan and what that new classification might mean for the park landscape and for our neighborhood. The take home, I don't have much time tonight because we have quite a busy agenda. So the take home points are that because of this new classification, many trees and other landscape changes are going to have to happen. And there's going to need to be a redesign of what the land around that reservoir looks like. And this is sort of the Bunker Hill, Mellon Terrace sort of section. So with those removal of trees, we're thinking intentionally about what the landscape should look like. And Pittsburgh Water is leading this effort in terms of sort of engaging Highland Parkers and our neighbors and our community in what we want to see happen. So if you were unable, first of all, if you haven't heard about this, please follow us. We are putting out a lot of information about this new hillside project. We really want everyone's feedback. Pittsburgh Water really would like everyone's feedback on what this new design should look like. If you missed the February 5th meeting, there is another opportunity to engage. The next meeting is Saturday, February 28th from 11 to 1. It's in person, not virtual, at Tree Pittsburgh. we'll maybe put this information in the chat for you, and please follow our list, the listserv for the neighborhood and our member emails. But we're really hoping for a good turnout for this meeting so that we can all participate in what the new design might look like. Again, in person at Tree Pittsburgh, if you haven't been to their facility, it's absolutely beautiful. It's sort of down in the Lawrenceville neighborhood, but it'll be a really good opportunity to talk about the changes, to really engage with Pittsburgh Water and what that might look like, and help think through what new plantings, new native species, new trees might look like to sort of restore the land that is going to have to be changed due to this new classification. I've already exhausted my time. I didn't have much tonight. We have a packed agenda. If you have questions because you were unable to attend the first meeting, visit our website.
Hello.
Kieran Coleman, do you have a question for us?
Sorry,
Hi,
my kids took my phone. Sorry about that.
No worries, no worries. Hey, it happens. But if you do have any questions or you're like in the dark about what we're happening about, please, please, please email us at HPCC, and you can even put something in the heading and we will absolutely respond, get you up to speed, and let you know about the next meeting. I see a question in the chat. That is a great question, Hayden. If you are unable to attend the meetings, I will absolutely find out that information. Elisa or Sabrina, are you aware of the answer, or Jason, to that question?
I am not.
Folks
right
are
now.
unable to attend.
I think they did. I'm trying to remember. I think they did say there might be an online component, but the meeting that was in early February was very much an informational meeting, kind of laying out why we were being required, to have these changes. The February 28th meeting, I believe, is intended to be a little more design oriented. I think it's like designed as like a charrette where there's feedback and interaction between people. So it does seem like it would be better to attend that in person if you're able to, if you're really interested, because it might be hard to get a lot out of it watching a recording or being on remote, and you won't be able to provide input if you're remote or if you're watching later.
Thank you, Sabrina. I think to Hayden's point, I will absolutely contact Pittsburgh Water about continuous community engagement and feedback. And if you have been unable to attend the February 5th or 28th meeting, if you can still participate and have your voice heard. So we really appreciate it. And we will provide updates from the community council around next steps and anything that comes out of that next meeting. This will be a pretty big change for our neighborhood. So we really appreciate anybody who's able to be there. And if you're not, please email the council and we can absolutely pass on your feedback.
Any other questions for Beth?
Beth, this is John. Just to build on that, it'd be great to keep pushing them on it, because they admitted on the first call that they had more people signed up for that first call than could even fit at Tree Pittsburgh. So it's clearly a space constrained venue that they're using, and it'd be great to have a way to continue to contribute.
Absolutely appreciate that, John. I know that we have been in touch about how freaking awesome our turnout was for February 5th. And if in fact Tree Pittsburgh cannot hold all the Highland Parkers that want to get involved with this, we will absolutely talk to them about pivoting to virtual. I'm so happy that our neighborhood is totally engaged with this. It absolutely means a lot. So we will report out if there is a pivot and it is not in person and we move to virtual for higher turnouts. We will absolutely let people know ASAP. I see another question in the chat from Ellen. Will there be the changes to the other reservoir as well? The most succinct way I could answer that right now is down the line. Yes, unfortunately, there might be, and you will hear more from us soon about what that might look like. It is not immediate. It is not this year, but we are in touch around what some of those possible landscape changes could be. I apologize. Was someone trying to speak? I heard a noise. Sabrina, did you have something to add on to that?
I wasn't the one who made the noise, but I will just say that I think they said at the meeting that it would be at least 3 to 5 years before we would be forced to do stuff around the other reservoir. And who knows what will happen between now and then. But as of now, it is looming on the horizon, but not going to happen in the next couple years.
Yeah, that's absolutely my understanding. So we're looking at a few years out, and we're looking at a lot happening this year that we should focus on, but we will absolutely, as a community council, be focused on the next steps for the reservoir, the main reservoir that we all use and love at the park. And we will communicate that out to everybody in the neighborhood as soon as we hear more. I felt rushed. There's always a ton of park updates. If you are interested in the park, in updates, in advocacy work, please, please, please email the community council's email, put the word park in the subject line, and Tina and myself and Stephanie and others who are doing some of this work would be more than happy to loop you into the happenings. More importantly, if you're interested in volunteering or being a part of that work, we could take all the help we can get. So we appreciate everyone's interest. Any other questions? I see another question in the chat. Is a description of the dam classification and implications published online? The word online I'm not sure of, but yes, we have that information. Kieran, if I could get your contact information, I'd be more than happy to follow up with those sort of details. Do you, I know I'm speaking to a chat. I'm not sure the best way to follow up. But if you put your email or email us, I'd be more than happy to follow up with you with the specifics. Thank you very much. Appreciate your email. Last comments, questions, concerns, and my last pitch while I wait is that please, please, please attend the February 28th meeting. It's daytime, 11 to 1. And we appreciate everybody's interest in the park and its happenings.
Thank you, Beth and Tina, for all your work on this. And as Beth mentioned, we will continue to really push these messages out to the community, both first by the listserv as well as social media, to make sure everyone has the information in their hands, because the more representation we have at the table here, the better our voices will be heard. So thank you, team. Selena, would you like to say something?
Hi, sorry, I was late to the punch. Soccer or hockey ran a little bit later, but I know Officer Crawford saved me. As always, he's the best community resource officer there is, but he got you up to date on your stats. I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm the new administrative sergeant for Zone 5. What that means is this was a newly created role for this year. I'm partially half in charge of the plainclothes detectives, investigations, that sort of thing, and half in charge of our community engagement for the zone. So we're going to be going pretty hard with community engagement and interactions this year. We've a couple of things we've touched on. We got the Youth Connections program back up and running, which is where we go into the schools and we have lunch with kids and we do a little question and answer, reverse role play. It's always a big hit. We're doing 6 of them by the end of the school year. We have done the Resolve clothing drive. If you guys have seen it online, for the last month, we're at over 4,000 articles of clothing collected. And Resolve has been getting it out through their 3 locations in Western Pennsylvania. So just anything at all you guys need, any questions, any comments. If you have any concerns, I'll put my email in the chat and just shoot me an email and I'll get on it.
Thank you, Selena. Welcome. And I'm assuming we'll see you at our next meetings as well, right?
Absolutely. We'll be at all of them. And if you guys have any invites to anything as well, just shoot them on over to me and we'll get officers there.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate your time.
Absolutely.
So our next update is that we, after hearing some wonderful feedback from our last community meeting and knowing that the Steelers are most not likely coming to our wine tasting fundraiser, we are shifting the date to April 17th, which is a Friday from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. And it will be at the Highland Park House Tower, so the very rooftop deck, which has a fantastic vantage point of Highland Park. So I'm going to introduce our board sommelier, a wonderful board member, Jack Rice, who's on the call, and he's just going to talk to us a little bit about what to expect this fundraiser.
Thanks, Lisa. Hey, hi, everyone. And as a board member of the HPCC, I want to thank you all for engaging with the Community Council. And I'm sure that if you are on this call, then you already support the HPCC. And another great way to support the HPCC is to come to the fundraiser, which is a wine tasting. And as Elisa pointed out, I am a wine enthusiast. I've been to wineries all around the world, including Tasmania just 10 or so days ago. And previously, I've been on the PLCB's Chairman Selection Tasting Program and the Consumer Advisory Panel. I am an amateur in this, but I have a great deal of interest. And as a result, since I'm one of your neighbors, I would love to meet as many of you as I can at the very top floor of the tallest building in Highland Park, and be able to look at the views, taste some wine, and maybe learn a little something about wine, but more importantly, meet neighbors. I had a great time at last year's tasting. So I hope that you'll all join us on April 17th, and I think it'll be a great deal of fun.
Thank you, Jack. And so we are going to be releasing our ticket sales for that event at the end of the month. And there is an interest form. I just put a link in the chat too. So if you want to be one of the first to know about when we start selling tickets, and we will let you know the price point at that time when we release our ticket sales.
It sold out quickly last year.
It did. It did. It was a fantastic event. So we didn't think we could only do it once. We're going to start doing it every year. It's just such a special time. All right. And now I'm going to ask Becky Marinov, who's a representative from St. Andrews, to talk a little bit about an event they are having later this month, I believe, at St. Andrews.
Thank you. Yes. Actually, it is Monday, March 2nd from 5 to 7, and it's Matthew Coos. Matthew is the Chief of Staff for Representative Chris DeLuzio. He's going to be joining us to talk about how best to engage your representatives, your senators. It's nonpartisan. You know, we're not looking to be political at all. It's just a way for people to learn how best to engage with your local representatives. We will have some snacks, and we hope to see as many. Everybody's welcome. Everybody's always welcome at St. Andrews. So that's Monday, March 2nd from 5 to 7.
Thank you, Becky. Anyone have any questions for Becky? Okay. And then we just have one more announcement. We have created a survey, which I just put in the chat, which is a Google form. These meetings are for you and our community. We want to hear some feedback from you about what you would like to see and what presenters you would like to see at our next meetings, so we can start to map this out and make sure we are fulfilling the needs of our community. So if you have time, could you please complete that survey on what type of topics you would like to see at different community meetings? And we will gather the survey results and start to put together agendas accordingly. And we will also be putting that out on social media as well to make sure that others have the opportunity to complete the survey. And with that, I think we've hit our agenda. We've hit all our talking points. Anyone else have anything else they'd like to add? Well, thank you, everybody. Enjoy the beautiful weather. Hopefully it stays warm for a little bit longer still.
I think Officer Crawford was going to share the stats for Highland Park.
Oh,
I think we missed that in the
perfect.
beginning of the session.
That'd be great. Thank you. Officer Crawford, would you be willing to do that? Oh, you're muted. Let me see if I can get you. Oh, I don't.
Jeff, are you able to press on mute on there? There you go.
Yeah. Can y'all hear me now?
Yes, thank you, officer.
How's everyone? I'd like to give you the stats for January. There was 21 reported reports taken. There was 2 ag assaults, 8 thefts, and 2 vehicle thefts. Also, there was, for that month, there was 4 arrests made. Is there any questions or concerns?
I have a question. Were the thefts all located in a similar area? Were they spread out? Were they, over the timing of them? Was it spread out across the month, or, did they seem to be related at all?
There was 2 on the 9th. 1 on the 10th, 1 on the 12th, 1 on the 24th, 23rd, 28th. Well, there was 2 on the 28th. And it looks like it was spread out throughout Highland Park.
Any other questions for Officer Crawford?
And also, I handle abandoned vehicles in the area. If you have any complaints, if you go through 311, I should get the complaints, and I'll be able to follow up on them.
Thank you, Officer. Really appreciate your time. All right, with that, everyone, have a wonderful evening. And as I mentioned before, enjoy the weather before it cools down again. All right, good night.